Good morning. I guess YouTube. Um, I My wife just I want to help, like I say, but I've been trying to tell her, and I know she ain't mad at me, and no, I ain't mad at her for anything. I mean, I tell her all the time, you know, that I wish I'd have checked some of this stuff out real good before I got introduced to it or whatever. And like I told my wife, ain't no need to name names. I know the couple of people it was, and I've named them out here before. I just wish I'd checked it out fully and and had known where these people's minds were at. Like I told my wife, I know, and I'm seriously trying to be neutral here, but my grandmother, she can cry all day long, and I'm not gonna change my mind because I meant what I said. She wanted to do all that stuff. Well, I'll let her go do it. I don't know what her and Papa do now. Used to when I was a little bitty kid and going down at my dad's. That was about the only time Papa got out. He went to go. He went with Granny to go yard selling, or when they'd have that flea market stuff. She'd say, "I'm gonna get Papa out of the house this weekend." So, that version of Granny, I wish I still had back, but I'm never gonna get that. And I at one time, yeah, I did it for my dad. I put up with a lot. My wife don't know how much stuff. I mean, it wasn't so bad. Like, well, I couldn't stomach it. There was stuff that she does now, currently, as a few years ago when I finally got tired of her mistreating me, that showed its early signs back when I was living with her. But she wasn't to that point of, I'm tired of you and I don't want you around, yada, yada, yada. And like I told my wife, nobody put this in her head, not family wise. I mean, because I can't hold Melissa and Regina or anybody in our family responsible. The only person that she went to and should know that her was that person over at Hiwassee. She went over and that's why I told my wife, I blew my top at Granny. I didn't do, I just verbally. I let her have it because I said, you wouldn't have done that with me sitting right there. Telling him all that. Telling him all that stuff. Like my wife has even said, and I said, as far as that goes, I said my dad, I could just went down. I told her last night. I said I could have had option C, and just told my dad, hey, I just want to come down there and live with you. I'm sure he wouldn't have cared. I know that I never would have got talked bad about. I would have been cared for, fed, had clothes, would have went shopping. Yeah, well, Derek, you'd have still had to put up with the brat couple days a week. Well, I wouldn't care. It's the same as if I wasn't, because he was coming up there to come get me on weekends anyway. So I'd put up with her that 2 days anyway. So, that's the only regret I have is not having lived with my dad instead of Granny and Papa, because over time it just got. When I thought I had two choices, I thought I picked the best one. It looks like Derek picked the worst. Now I'm not saying like at the time, but I'm saying overall. When you look at how they treat me now versus how they treat me when I was just in my teenage years or whatever. And what about it? Yeah, I mean, I looked up to uh, Granny and them, but and thought well of them. But like I told my wife, I'm not the most religious person at all. They know that, and they believe me. They tried a couple times and tried to pull that stunt with me after I'd been up there for a number of years. Nobody hardly brought up church, if at all. And then when had something hit them, just like it hit me one time. So I asked Danny. I texted him. This was a few years before my wife showed up, 2009 or so. And and I reached out and I asked him. I said, "Well, what church did you go to?" I said, because it'd been a long time. And so anyway, I did that for a little while, and I liked it for a little while, because the church had quite a bit of crowd, and it was pretty good. Nobody bothering you much. You know. Sometimes you get a few of them kind of like when I first started. But for example, when I first started wanting to go to that church, I was the only one on the bus, on the van. And then when my wife showed up not long after, a couple of years later, and I still going there, um, then a few months later, we found such people as Tasha and Adam, drug addicts, people in trouble with the law. They see the damn bus. Now they, for some reason or another, they saw it pass by somehow or something, because like I said, we didn't have these people at the time. So I'm guessing they saw it on the bus, and it had stopped somewhere, or they passed by the church, probably out sightseeing. Because I don't know how they got to know, but it don't matter. But I'm just using it as an example. So it started that, and then they didn't want to go, and sometimes they wanted to go, and I did that too. But I mean, I would do it like if there's wrestling, pay-per-view night or something. I'd tell them, say, hey, I'm just gonna stay home for tonight. I got a big old, pay-per-view on tonight, and I'm on, and they didn't mind, as long as I don't know. But the whole Tasha and Adam thing is just, ridiculous. It's the same thing like I did with Crack Whore up here. Sitting there trying to blame me, my wife, or everybody in the vicinity of the, within here to these apartments over here. Somebody took my stuff. Somebody raped me. Somebody did this. Somebody did that. And all this bullshit. That's why I don't have time for it. That's why I say I wish I checked some of this stuff out. I beat myself up with it already. I didn't do a thorough investigation of my own and check these people out, because it ain't going nowhere, and that's what we've come to. If I choose options I've already dealt with and already explored and already had, good things to say about these people in my family. I mean, some of them. I mean, like I told her earlier, I said and I still don't. Whether it was back then or now, especially now, I don't follow them. I don't know if I don't mess with anybody's business. I mean, I was that way, and as a kid, I heard a few things and knew a few things, because they came up there and they would spend Sundays or whatever you gonna call it, right? And them talking back and forth. Yeah, I knew one of them worked at Ingles for a while, and then they would go to DuPont and follow up there where Papa was working at the time. And then when Papa retired, in 2001, he's been, I got to tell my wife, he's been retired 21 years coming up. And, you know, I just always have in my own, and this is me thinking on behalf of everybody else that won't come out with this, but this is the truth. Like I said at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing by choosing to live up there at Granny's, right? And I thought I made the right choice. But in the long haul, I'm not so sure. And I'm almost certain that I made a bad choice. Well, what would Derek, well, if you know that your dad was going to pass away at 50, what would you do? Well, I'd probably been down in Cleveland or wherever he moved it back up here. But for the longest time, he lived in Cleveland. So I don't know if everything played out the way it played out. I probably would have not met my wife because, I'm trying to think on my feet here, but I'm just saying there's a good chance because of the population differences and different people. And I wasn't enticed up here. You could have thrown me about anybody up here in front of me, and I wasn't. They wasn't a thing about them that made me like them, whether it was what they had on their outside or whether it was their attitude on the inside. You couldn't, you couldn't. I just wouldn't buy it. I just wouldn't take it, and I'm not, you know, in no way, because I mean, choices are choices. My wife made some, I've made some, and it is what it is. But I'm I don't know an answer to tell her, and I'm sorry that I don't, because like I said, I'm truly sorry, but I can't. You know, I'm not psychic, but I do the best I can. Like I told my wife about the family stuff, they don't want me or her to have anything, but it's okay for them to go and do what they want to do. And that's what I have come, and what they're down there saying they don't do this, and I'm not there. I don't know what they do and what they don't do. It's none of my business, right? None of my business. I told her last night I don't have no papers. I don't have no ownership of nothing. I don't own anybody. It's bad when you're brought up around the family. I'm sure my wife can speak to this. But when you're brought up around family, and one version of it, she wants me to believe that's true. I wished I could. Like I said, it goes on both ends. I wish I could show her the granny of old that I was raised up around. She'd like her a lot better, but I can't, right? So it's tip for tat. It is what it is. But you people, I don't know the answers to this. You people change. I'm the one that's not really changed. My wife's not changed. I told her because she's my wife, that's why me and her can work this stuff out. We can sit here, we can talk. I've run down everybody that's ever come in contact with me that she's thrown at me, whether it's or introduced me to, however you want to put it, uh, and I just don't like it. They put on a front outside for her, and then when she tells them about me and tries to tell them anything, they come up in here trying to run over me and trying to tell me that they have to go see this. I need to let them go see that. What in the world? Does that make any sense? No. Like I said, crack whores or not, anything else that might come my way or my wife's way, whatever. That's why I'm being as hard to get along with now. Y'all made me realize no matter the Susans and all the whole 9 yards and the rest of you that act like that, choose stuff that you already got your feet into over what you dip yourself into currently. I mean, and they ask for help. Like I said, a lot of these have asked for help or want stuff, but they only want what they see. They accuse me of stuff like, well, he's bossing me around and or whatever. They don't want to do that to my wife. They know better. Like I said, it's night and day difference. You know, you don't get many of me around. You don't get a Connie Moore or or somebody like that around much. You don't get an honest person. You, and it's very few and far between. Hell, Roxanne's not an honest person. She don't help nothing. I regret every day though, even let that happen. Is that right there hurts. I have to know that somebody would not maybe she was too young and too dumb to realize what she had sitting in front of her. Maybe she just didn't have it in her to care. She put on a front for you, put a smile on and all that stuff. Like a lot of people do. And Derek, she gave you candy out of her purse or whatever she said. Well, I know, but my God. What's I supposed to think when I'm sitting here and I'm at the time I'm what, 19 or barely or 18 or whatever I was at the time. And where she was at the time. And I think about why did these things happen? I didn't ask for any of these. I could hit every one of them. And I don't know, just like my wife don't know. I don't know what I know what the general day holds for me and my wife, and I hate that, but I told her nobody's gonna care whether we die tomorrow or kick the bucket. I can't do temporary stuff and temporary fixes. It's not going to help anything. There's memories of what my family or what anybody who's ever met me's done to me. It's been, it's too much damage there. I mean, it's so bad that it's stuck. There ain't anything anybody could do. I mean, if all the family in the world came down here and tried to reason and tried to tell me, boy, this is what I do, it don't make sense, right? Logic tells you that anybody, whether it's family, friends, etc., it doesn't make sense for them to pick and choose. Yeah, am I a little bit hard to deal with because of my situation, because of me being handicapped, and because I don't drive or I'm not supposed to work because I'm on SSI or whatever. That's what, the old gospel granny there tell you. And yet it's okay for her to go out there and play bingo and go to all this stuff, red hats, you name it. And she got herself, like I said, she's guilty of the thing. And like I told my wife last night, and I'll say this now, I turned down a lot of stuff. I turned down wanting to be in music. I turned down a lot of stuff in my time. So I told my wife, I said, girlfriends, I turned that down. I wasn't really looking, and they wasn't really looking, nobody was looking at my ugly ass either. So, man, I'm not going to toot my own horn because I ain't that pretty, I ain't that ugly, but I ain't going to say, oh yeah, I'm a 10 on the Richter scale. I mean, I'll give you this. At one time, I used to have blonde hair. Everybody had a tickle over it. Over time, I got my dad's hair color. But no, I just, I sit here minding my own business last night, and I was watching a Braves game, and all of a sudden, one of these god dang people out of nowhere comes, I had my computer on like I do right now. And this woman, Mary or whatever, I didn't know it was her name till I looked on her profile. And she goes and tries to tell me this whole story or tells my wife her story that I said I didn't say this, or I didn't do that. And look, I'm 30, almost 38 years old. I mean, give me a goddamn break, people. I mean, I can understand that I make mistakes just like all of us do. I didn't say my wife and I's choices were always what everybody liked or wanted, or that our choices benefits anybody but ourselves. But like I told my wife, my grandmother's not going to throw a wreath out there to help you find the best. My family is stubborn as all get out. They want me and her to sit here and rot because they, like I said, if shoes on the other foot, they're okay because they have a car and they go around and they have people over at their house. They have sleepovers. Don't think I don't remember Dixie and JC always get to go over at these people's houses and having them around, having their little girls' time, whatever it is. Old Derek was never invited to anything. Oh, yeah, we'd have the occasional gathering or something in my time. Used to up at Granny's when there wasn't nothing but about 10 people or less. And that wasn't up to me. She could have had 50 people in there, and there wasn't a damn thing I could have done except go in my room and play my games. If, after I ate or whatever, and talk to them for a minute, if they wanted to talk. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to hold a gun to anybody's head, figuratively, and say, hey, you got to talk to me, right? Or literally. I don't like guns anyway. But the point is, I told my wife what this is that, I know I'm going to die soon. I'm going to kick the bucket. So I want to make things right now after I pissed him off and drove him to his limits. I told my wife, my mental limit is up with these people. I don't take very much. I take more from my wife and I stuff because she's my wife. I can't play Dr. Feelgood with everybody and try to help people like I can her. We had our times too where things wasn't going right and still ain't. But I ain't out here and she ain't out here beating and banging on everybody's door asking for tools and money and cards, etc. And people on the internet coming out of nowhere that I did not look up, by the way. They came out of nowhere, like this last night, and then she screenshotted the first 2 or 3 things my wife acknowledged. Oh, that's what she did. I said, well, scroll them down there. Keep going. And so by the time she got through scrolling down there, and it wasn't a lot, but I did do what I exactly told her I said. I said, I'm not going to fuss with you. I just want to show you. Like I told her, there's 2 sides to every story. Yeah, maybe a lot of times I didn't do things quite the way that she thought I would. I was trying to get to know the person first and see if they would work. And before I threw them on her, and then all of a sudden they, and usually because when it's the other way around anyway, whether they come to her or me, it's I just sit here and I watch TV or whatever she puts on, or cartoons or what have you. But every time she gets somebody that comes to her, whether it's one of these fucking people from Alabama that continually texts her because she needs somebody up her ass I say, thank God we don't live next door. It'd be worse. Because I actually, and at one time I had to get in the middle of it and a referee, which I don't like doing. But one time I had spoke to that one's husband. I said, well, hey, I didn't get this crap started. He tried to hang up on me. I said, no, listen to me. I said, here, my wife's upset because she was minding her own business, putting her dolls, pictures of her dolls on her old Facebook. And I told my wife last night, I said, you know, when you think about it, this Carmen or whoever, she could have done us all a favor and just left well enough alone. As a matter of fact, as I sit right now, she's just a cancer in the way. She don't help nothing. She don't do anything. I don't know anything about her, and I don't want to know. It's none of my business. She's got her own sexist views on things and how she treats others. I don't agree with them. Her little church beliefs and all that stuff that gets in people's way, that kind of stuff. Oh, I can talk to this or that if it's, those kind of rules. I'm tired of it. I told my wife, I feel like I'm handcuffed, I'm shackled, I can't be myself. She can sit there and tell anybody she wanted to tell stuff about me too, and that they're not really gonna care. I can't help it out. I didn't come before everybody else did. But to these people. But that's why I'm saying, if you like where you're at, whoever you might be out there, that's why we're saying, don't come to us. And if you want our bestie offer or whatever, if there's some lady out there that sees this video and understands what I'm trying to get at, and has seen people that's went through it or just feels like they would make a nice fit, that's why I put it out here. That's why, the offer have been out there. I've explained deeply about this stuff. Like I said, I watch baseball, watch the Braves during the summertime when they're on, spring and summer, and then I watch a little bit of TV. But, and like I said, I understand my wife, sometimes she just, because she hates it because people come to her and she, what are we going to do, Dirk? Can't trust them. Well, if they can't be right, if they always got to go behind my back and say something backwards, and and I can't, like I said, I can't help that y'all's car's out of gas, or if or gas is going up, and the ones that's got cars out there, don't sit there and play this bullshit with me. I know people out there, if they wanted to do something, they'd do it and not ask for a dime. Now, would I be nice enough if after you made the trip up here, if you're out there, would I be nice enough to give you a couple bucks or whatever later on or pay you back? Yeah. I know you'd be saying, he just said, no, I mean it. If that was a thing, my wife has known me for 11 years. And I ain't had to pay back too many people. But I try my best to always keep my promises. Do they all get kept? No. But when I owe somebody money or, for example, when Roger over at the pharmacy, I tell him our stuff is the way it is, and he pretty well knows that we're trustworthy. He knows who I was raised around, and he knows the situation. And he knows we don't get out and do much. And so the other day, since I've been always paying him back, and he's been letting me have the medicine, or my wife go down there and get it, and then, and stuff, but he knows he can trust us. I tell him whenever we get our money. It's not that much. It's like $1.50, per medicine. It's a copay, and he knows he can trust us. Now, could he do that for everybody? No, but he knows. He knows that that we're nice and good people. And that we really have a tough situation here, and I just I don't know what else to really say that hadn't really been said, but I want things to turn around, but I can't make it. I can't turn this thing around and fly a magic carpet out here and just turn everything to the way I want it to turn. I mean, I'd be willing to, like I said, meet somebody new and present them with this nice offer. I told my wife there was some lady she kept bringing up down to thrift store and she goes down to. I said, "Well, try that one." She said, "Well, Derek, she won't be down there until a couple of days or something." I said, "I don't care. My God, I've already been sitting her. Me and her has already." I said, "Offer her that offer. Maybe her mom's daughter will like it." I guess that's right? Her mom's daughter. I said, maybe she might like this offer. Maybe she would understand it. And maybe she ain't full of drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and stuff. Maybe she's got her head on straight. I said, and I'm sure those ain't a thing, but I'm just saying somebody's gonna have to be in our shoes for once. And I usually don't like saying that. And my grandmother, like I said, I'll go one step further. Yeah, I know she's had her issues. She's had medicine she's took for years and years and years. That might be one of her problems. She takes too much goddamn medicine. And I bet, if I were to bet, I mean, I can't name all the stuff. There's so much stuff she had in there that she took for certain things, and some stuff you can buy over the counter. But she would have, it looked like a dang medicine cabinet. And all that stuff. I can't, I've done what other people want me to do. And I've always done that. I've always put myself last. I've always had, and yeah, like I told my wife, yeah, did I call my grandmother? And I'll put this out there because I know if there's somebody out there, well, he left something out. Okay. Well, like I said, my grandmother, like I said, I didn't use her for her money. If she wanted me to pay her back, I always did. And I can go back to my own memory and still remember things like times ordered the wrestling pay-per-views. Well, Derek, if you're going to order a wrestling pay-per-view, you got to pay me back. I said, okay. I always did. And because when you think about it, that was $30, $40, $50 more on their bill. And at the time I was working at Sonic. So yeah, I said, sure, I'll pay it because I didn't mind to do that. It's my pay-per-view, right? So you would expect me to pay it back. And I did. When I owed her money for, if she said, hey, Derek, would you be nice enough to pay me back, for the groceries I went down and got you. If we, sometimes she, because she does it quite a bit or had done it quite a bit. And at times because she's low or wanted to use that money for something, my grandmother, she's not crazy. I mean, as far as she don't mishandle her money or nothing. But